Towards the end of Backton 13, an unprecedented evil emerged. He enslaved the souls of many under a dark, hypnotic trance. He possessed the body of one man who would come to be known as
Hello everyone, I heartily welcome you all to this very first lecture. Today we shall have a detailed discussion on the civil services. This discussion is necessary because once the path is clear on which we are about to travel, the journey becomes easy. So let us start. So the roots of the civil services can be traced a long back, along with the human history. Once there was a civilized organization existed, the history of civil services, the civil services can be traced right from the beginning. Whether we talk about the Indus Valley civilization, we do not have the proof right now as there was existence of civil services or not, but a well civilized society cannot be backed by a civil without civil services, right? So civil services existed in one form or the other in any kingdom. The key to the survival of the ancient Egyptian civilization, which flourished early as 3000 BC, was the civil services, the historical model of all the later bureaucracies. This was the first successful model. After this, everybody took the inspiration from the Egyptian model of bureaucracy and then made some of the other changes, and it is flourishing till today's date. The waterways for the civil services the waterways for the civilization needed central management, which required a body of officials. Obviously, to manage a particular body, the government cannot control everything, go everywhere and control everything. So it required a body of officials, right? So once in place, the officials found their second realm of business in the extensive construction activities organized along the military lines, and it was only a matter of time before they took the administration of the entire state. Once they controlled that water administration, they were recruited. Once they controlled that very well, government said, okay, now you can do another thing also very well with full administrative control. And slowly as the time passes by, they became the administration of the entire state. Now as we can see, this is the democrat social pyramid of Egypt civilization. So we can see that bureaucrats, and you can see these bureaucrats are third most important part of the Egyptian civilization. After the government agents, bureaucrats, and bureaucrats used to contact with dear leader through the government agents. So bureaucrats were very important in the Egyptian civilization. In Indian context, if we talk about, as the invent of Aryans, when Aryans came into India right after the Indus Valley civilization flourished, the Aryans came to India. So in India, the legends of the Aryans speak of the evolution of the administrative system. The god at war with the demons were at the verge of defeat. In desperation, they got together and elected a king to lead them. The origins of the early administrative systems may perhaps be traced to these legends. So if we talk about the Aryan civilization also, it also consisted of some kind of administrative bodies, so which was controlled by civil services, controlled by civil servants. So bureaucracy existed in one form or the other in any kingdom, whether we talk about Aryan, whether we talk about Mauryan, any kind of kingdom where we talk about, bureaucracy existed. Later, if we talk about the medieval period in India, subsequently the bureaucratic system in India evolved through the periods of Delhi Sultanate, Mauryan Empire, Mughal rule, and the British colonial empire. Obviously, the British colonial empire, the British bureaucracy is followed till today, right? But it has been changed. It has been brought into modification from time to time. Now, if we talk about the British model, so British model, the present civil services structure in India traces its origin to the Maclay Committee under Lord Maclay. Obviously, he was the first person to bring the civil services into India, because East India Company was having a very much partial type of, like today's Bollywood. It was having a very much partial system. Means if your grandfather is there in the civil services, only his son will be there in the services afterwards. So to end this system, the committee gave India its first modern civil services in 1854, and recommended that a patronage based system of the East India Company, which I told you earlier, should be replaced by a permanent civil services, entry into which will be based on merit through a competitive entrance examination, not on the hierarchy basis but on the competitive examination. तो जो capable होगा उसी को ही civil services में entry मिलेगी, ये नहीं कि बस चले आ रहे हैं patriarchal society की तरह, right? In the present context, if we talk about the designing of the civil services after independence, the Indian political leaders choose to refrain elements of British structure of the unified administrative system, such as the open entry based on academic achievements, elaborate training arrangements, permanency of tenure, important posts of the union, state and district levels reserved for the civil services, a regular graduates scale of pay with pension and other benefits, and a system of promotions and transfer based on predominantly seniority. So East India Company, the patriarchy of East India Company, to end this, civil services was organized, British civil services, and to end some of the privileges and perks that were given in the British civil services. After independence, several reforms were made, and that was made as the Indian civil services, the recruitment of Indian civil services examination, which is present we are approaching for, right? These civil services are far superior to any job in the private sector. They run the entire administration of a country. In monetary terms, if you talk about private sector, maybe achieving a lot of monetary benefits, lot of ransom salary, but when we talk about civil services, it has no comparison. It has no comparison and will be having no comparison in the upcoming years. Why? Because civil services, people have a hope with the civil servant as they will bring the change in the society. Exceptions are everywhere. There are some persons who later on their, after some of the years of civil services, they become corrupt. But majority of the civil servants have brought change and are bringing change in the society. The elected ministers of India lay down the policies required to properly run the administrative machinery, which are then executed by the civil servants in various central and state government agencies. So the main role of government is to frame policies, but the implementation of the policy, how the policies will be implemented, who will be benefited with the policy, who will not be benefited, though no partial system, all neutral system should be there, transparency should be there. This is the work of the administrative system. This is the work of the civil servants to see and to bring the change. The importance of civil services in a democracy like India is very, very high. For effective administration, it is vital that our political leaders are given non-partisan advice based on effective coordination between the various institutions of governance. So like for example, if there is a district magistrate and there is a MLA, so it has to be a better coordination between a district magistrate and an MLA, because MLA is a government organization person and district magistrate is a bureaucratic person. It is a part of executive. So it has to be a coordination between the executive and the legislature. ये सब क्या terms हैं? We will talk about it later. Don't worry. This is just a scratch video. I hope you are knowing nothing about the civil services. That's why I am starting from the scratch, right? The government of India expects the civil servants to fulfill their responsibility towards the public by offering frank and unbiased advice to the government, irrespective of which party is in power. So bureaucracy, you might have heard a term that bureaucracy is always neutral. There is no leftist or rightist. Bureaucracy is always in the centrist, which talks about the betterment of India, development of India in economic, social and political terms. So bureaucracy is all about implementing those policies and maximizing the output by application of those policies. That is it. The bureaucracy is, although lots of functions are there, which we'll see on the later stage. The civil services in India are grouped into three broad categories. First, the services whose members serve both at the union and the state governments, that is All India Services, which are three in number: the Indian Administrative Services or the IAS, the Indian Police Services or the IPS, and the Indian Forest Services, that is the IFOS. After that, services whose members serve only in the union governments are known as central civil services. So central civil services consist of persons such as income tax inspector, income tax commissioner, and other posts that are not classified into other posts other than All India Services are classified as central civil services. So those persons serve under the central civil services, and All India Services persons serve under the both central as well as under the state governments. Also, the state governments have their own group of services, the state civil services. Every state in India has their own state services, state civil services, whose head are of the state only, but they are not liable to serve under the central. Let us see some points about the civil services. The responsibility of the conducting of the civil service examination is given to a very beautiful and very organized body, which is known as Union Public Services Commission. Why did I say the word beautiful? The word beautiful means it has a very systematic way of conducting the examination. It do not have any loopholes. It do not have any dead ends. It has simple, if it is said that on this day it will be the prelims examination, it will be there. We have seen in the 2020 the coronavirus was there. No matter, for UPSC it was 4th of October that examination was to be conducted, and examination was conducted on 4th of October, right? Civil servants are selected through various examinations conducted by UPSC, Union Public Service Commission, including the prestigious Civil Services Examination. UPSC is the central authority that conducts various examinations to recruit candidates from various Group A as well as Group B government services such as All India Services, India Statistical Services, Indian Engineering Services and Indian Defence Services. Apart from civil services, UPSC has numerous other exams to be conducted through which it recruits candidates for Group A and Group B. The origin of the Public Service Commission in India dates back to 1919, when the first dispatch of the constitutional reforms on 5th March 1919 referred to the need for setting up a permanent office in the regulation of the services matter. So this was the prior independence. So the roots of the modern bureaucracy laid in the prior pre-independence period. In furtherance to it, Section 96C of the Government of India Act 1919 provided for the establishment of a Public Service Commission (PSC) to discharge in regard to recruitment and control of the public services in India, such functions as may be assigned thereto by the rules made by the Secretary of State in Council. So this was GOI, Government of India Act 1919. It brought certain rules and regulations about the civil services. After this, the Lee Commission also recommended setting up of a Public Service Commission, which was set up on 1st October 1926, and the first member of this commission was Sir Ross Bowker. And thereafter onwards, 1st October 1926 is known as the civil services, is known for the markation of the civil services. After the passage of the Government of India Act 1935, this Public Service Commission was conferred into the Federal Public Service Commission. So this was converted because we are under the federal state, we were under the colony, so it was Federal Public Service Commission. Following the enforcement of the Constitution on 26 January 1950, the Federal Public Service Commission was renamed as Union Public Service Commission. After that, we got independence in 1947, and when 1950, this name was changed to Union Public Service Commission. As we were independent and we were a union of states, so bureaucrats were recruited to serve all over the India, and it was union. So India is known as Union of States. That is why it was Union Public Service Commission. The commission is constituted under Article 315 of the Indian Constitution. Article 315 of the Indian Constitution says that there shall be a body that will recruit persons for Group A and Group B, that is All India Services and Central State Services, Central Civil Services. The functions of UPSC are described in Article 320 of the Indian Constitution, which are as follows: to conduct the appointment of the services to the nation, direct recruitment by selection through interviews that are for higher posts which require some work experience, appointment of officers on promotion, deputation and absorption, framing and amendment of recruited rules for various services and posts under the government, disciplinary cases related to different civil services, and advising the government on any matter related to the commission by the President of India. So President of India can tell UPSC ki please give me advice on this certain problem or situation, then UPSC is abide to tell him, the President, that okay sir, you can follow such and such rules, such and such a path for the solution of the problem that you give. Right. So UPSC is very statutory. It is a statutory body. It is a constitutional body, and UPSC is very unbiased in any kind of. It is a very pure, transparent organization. Any person who is recruited through civil services is fair enough and is capable enough to work in the civil services. And if a person is not able to clear the civil services, then that person needs some kind of improvement in their next attempt to clear the civil services. And it is the mistake of that own person or the own candidate that he himself has not been able to clear the civil services, but not the mistake or any kind of mistake of UPSC in checking or recruiting that particular person. The UPSC is that kind of body that has never a mark, never a black spot on his reputation, and that is why it is the best of the best organization. After this, let us see some of the major exams that are conducted by UPSC. So Central Armed Police Force Assistant Commandant Examination is conducted by UPSC. Combined Medical Services Examination is conducted by UPSC. Combined Geologist and Geoscientist Examination is conducted by UPSC. Engineering Services Examination, that is the entrance to PSUs, Public Sector Units, is conducted by Engineering Services Examination. After that, Indian Forest Services also, because the preliminary examination on the Indian Forest Services and Indian Civil Services is same, rest it has a different mains and a different interview. So Indian Forest Services Examination is also conducted through UPSC. National Defence Academy Examination is also conducted through UPSC. And the agenda of our channel, the agenda of our discussion, the Civil Services Examination, is also conducted to UPSC. Now let us see some general information about the examination. So I'll divide this into several parts. First we'll see the eligibility for the civil services, who can apply for civil services examination. Right, so I'll divide this eligibility into several parts. First part will be the discussion for parts are, first part will be educational qualification, then is the age, then we will talk about the nationality, and then we will talk about the number of attempts. So these four in a total tells us about the eligibility for civil services. let us see the educational requirements first. So the candidate must hold a degree of the university incorporated by an act of central or state legislature in Indian or other educational institution established by an act of parliament or declared to be deemed as university under section 3 of the Universities Grants Commission Act 1956. In simple words, you should be graduated. Any graduation, BCom, BA, any graduation of a bachelor's degree, you are eligible for civil services examination. No specialization, no work experience required, nothing. Age. Next most important thing is age. General category, lower limit is 21 years because before 21 years you cannot give the examination, and after 32 years also you cannot give the examination. So the range is 21 lower limit, 32 upper limit. Between 21 to 32 you can give the examination. And for SC/ST, for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, it is plus 5 years, means 32 plus 5 years, and for OBC it is plus 3 years, means 32 plus 3 years. So upper limit extends for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes and for OBCs. Next, let us see the nationality. For nationality perspective, for the citizen perspective, we talk about for Indian Administrative Services, Indian Police Services and Indian Foreign Services, you must be a citizen of India. It is very compulsory. After this, if you are not a citizen of India, then you are not eligible for IAS, IPS and IFS. For others, you can be a citizen of India, a subject of Nepal, a subject of Bhutan. For this, the certificate of eligibility should be issued by the government of India. Before recruiting or after recruitment, once you are selected, the eligibility of the eligibility certificate should be issued. You should have a certificate that you are from either of the countries, Nepal and Bhutan. Indian citizen, there is no need of getting a certificate from government of India. Next is the number of attempts. So we talk about the number of attempts. General category has 6 attempts in total. This means that right from the age of 21 to 32, you can give 6 attempts at any point of time in your life. Means 21 to 32, this gap is important. 21 to 32, this you can say age gap is important. But the thing is that 6 attempts are only there in your general category, if you are of a general category student, right? For scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, SC/ST, there is no limit at all. There is no limit for the number of attempts. That is until you reach your upper limit age, you are able to give any number of attempts. For OBC category, it is 9 attempts, right? So general category 6 attempts, SC/ST no limit, and OBC category 9 attempts. Now let us see the services offered by the examination. Services offered by the examination are Indian Administrative Services. These services are through civil services, right? Indian Administrative Services, IAS. Then is Indian Police Services, IPS. Then is Indian Foreign Services, IFS. Then is Indian P&T Account Services, that is of Group A. Then is Indian Audit and Account Services, Group A. Then is Indian Revenue Services, Custom and Central Excise, Group A. Then we have Indian Defence Account Services, Group A. Indian Revenue Services, IT, Income Tax, Group A. Indian Ordnance Factory Services, Group A. In that you will get a post for Assistant Works Manager and Administration. Then we have Indian Postal Services, Group A. Indian Civil Account Services, Group A. Then we have Indian Railway Traffic Services, Group A. Indian Railway Account Services, Group A. Indian Railway Personal Services, Group A. And Post of Assistant Security Commissioner in Railway Protection Group, RPG, Group A. Then we have Indian Defence Estate Services, Group A. Indian Information Services Junior Grade, Group A. Indian Trade Services Group A, Indian Corporate Law Services Group A, Armed Forces Headquarters Civil Services Group B, Section Officers Grade A. This is Group B services, and within a time span of 10 years or earlier, based on your work experience or the better the work you do, the fast you get promoted to Group A. For in case of Group B, and in Group A, then promotions will be time bounded. Then we have the Delhi, Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep, Daman and Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli Civil Services Group B, which is known as DEN, then ICS. Right? Then we have Delhi, Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep, Daman and Diu, Dadra, Nagar Haveli Police Services Group B, that is DEN IPS, DEN IPS. And then we have Pondicherry Civil Services Group B, and then we have Pondicherry Police Services Group B. Now let us see the plan of the examination, how the examination is conducted. So the examination is a 1 year based civil services recruitment. It is valid for 1 year, means within 1 year you will be getting selected. So if you are not getting selected in any of the stage of the examination, then you will be able to give the exam only after 1 year. So it is held once in a year. It is once in a year examination. I was not getting that word. Let us see the exam. The exam is conducted into 2 phases. First phase is the preliminary examination. Second phase is the mains examination. Further, mains is divided into 2 stages. First is the written test.
It's 13 hours.
And second is the personality test. Right? So lots of aspirants consider this as 3 stage. No issue. You can consider this as 3 stage, preliminary, mains, interview. But according to the notification of the UPSC, it is divided into 2 stages, that is the preliminary examination and the mains examination, which is further divided into written test and personality test. Let us see the preliminary examination first, the preliminary phase of examination. So preliminary phase of examination will be conducted into 2 parts, that is the general studies 1 paper and the general studies 2 paper, also known as the CSAT among many aspirants. Let us see something about general studies 1 first. It is a criteria for getting selected into mains. It is purely a cut-off examination, qualifying examination. For mains, its marks are not added in the total. Then it is of 200 marks, which is divided into 100 questions, 2 marks per question. And strategy and revisions are must for getting to the general studies 1 for preliminary examination. When we will deal with the preliminary examination, we will talk a lot about it. Then is the general studies 2 examination. It is also known as the civil services aptitude test of preliminary examination, CSAT. It is qualifying, that is 33%. So total is of 66 marks you have to get. But it is not as easy as it looks. It is a game changer. Obviously, even some aspirants of 0.01 marks, they are not able to qualify the CSAT, and hence they are stopped at the preliminary examination. Once you qualify the pre-examination, you get through the cutoff of the preliminary examination, you are eligible for mains. There is no at all criteria that preliminary marks will be counted at any point of any stage of the examination. It is not like that. Your mains and interview examination are counted for your final merit and selection into civil. Your mains marks are wholly responsible for getting into mains, for getting into services. Sorry. Now let us talk about the written test. The written test is conducted in a large manner among 9, and the preliminary examination was of objective type. The written test is of subjective type. So it is conducted in 9 papers, which can be divided into 2. The nature of 9 papers can be divided into 2 parts. First part is the qualifying. Second part is the merit makers. So qualifying papers, you only need to qualify. There's a certain marks that you need to get through and qualifying, and it is not counted for merit. After that, there are 7 papers that are counted for merit. 2 papers for qualifying, 7 papers for merit. That makes 9 papers. Now let us see the qualifying papers first. Qualifying papers, again, first is the compulsory language. You can choose any one of the Indian language that is given in the 8th schedule of the constitution. Any language. English is not there, right? Then there is compulsory English. So compulsory English is very simple. Class 10th level, basic English, basic high school English they'll ask. So qualifying papers on Indian language, let us see something. Qualifying papers on Indian languages in English. The aim of the paper is to test the candidate's ability to read and understand discursive prose and to express his ideas clearly and correctly in English and in the Indian languages concerned. The pattern of questions would be broadly as follows: comprehension of given passages, precise writing, usage and vocabulary, short essays. If we talk about the Indian languages, then it is the comprehension of the given passages, precise writing, usage and vocabulary, short essays, and one of the most important, translation from English to Indian language and vice versa. Right? If you choose Hindi, Hindi to English, English to Hindi. If you choose Marathi, Marathi to English, English to Marathi. 20 marks, 20 marks, 2 passages are there. The papers of Indian languages and English will be of matriculation or equivalent standard and will be of qualifying natures only. To say, the marks obtained in these papers will not be counted for ranking. The candidates will have to answer the English and in the Indian languages papers in English and the respective Indian languages expect where the translation is involved. So you cannot write Hindi in an English paper, expect where they are trying to say to convert that particular thing. Now let us see the merit makers, which are the most important. Merit papers can be divided into 7 parts. First is the essay, 250 marks. Then we have the general studies 1, 250 marks. Then general studies 2, 250 marks. General studies 3, 250 marks. And general studies 4, 250 marks. Apart from these general studies paper, 1 essay, 4 general studies, we have the optionals, which is divided into 2 papers. 1 optional, 2 papers. Optional paper 1, 250 marks, and optional paper 2, 250 marks. So total of 1750. The mains total is 1750. Let us see the essay. The weightage of essay is 250 marks, which is equal to in GS paper. So not to be taken in a light manner. Essay, very important. A rank deciding paper along with general studies 4 and optionals. General studies 4, optionals and essay will get you through your favorite services if you work hard on this, obviously. It is divided in 2 sections, 2 essays, 1200 words each, 125 marks each. So 125, 2 essays, 250 marks, 1200, 200, 2400 words. Right? You have to write 2 essays. Now what I am going to tell you is just a perception. It is not hard and fast. This can change. UPSC is Unpredictable Services Commission. Apart from Union Public, it is also unpredictable. So you cannot predict. But according to seeing the past trends of the paper, one can say that 1 essay will be of the conceptual part, that is on a thought, innovative idea, social issue, belief, etc. Other essay will be from the current section, especially from the trending ones like international relations, economy, society, etc. This is not hard and fast. Now let us see general studies 1. General studies 1 paper can be divided into Indian art, culture and heritage, history of India and the world. History of India can be divided into 3 parts: ancient, medieval, modern, and world history. So in history of India, ancient, medieval, modern, and history of the world is world history. Then we have Indian society and related concepts, and the last is the geography of India and the world. So 4 areas, 4 broad areas under which there are certain topics which we will study in general studies 1. Apart from this, general studies 2. General studies 2 can be divided into Indian constitution and polity. So we will read about the Indian constitution and the applicable of Indian constitution, that is polity. Then the governance and related concepts. Then we have the social justice, And the last portion for general studies 2 is international relations. Then we have general studies 3. So general studies 3, first part is Indian economy and related issues. Then we have science and technology. After this we have environment and biodiversity. And the last part we have security and disaster management. General studies 4. General studies 4 can be divided into ethics and human interface, public civil services values, thoughts. Then we have probity in governance, and the last is the case studies. Now if we talk about optionals, which is one area where you can score, because optionals is your choice. Optional is our choice. We can score as much as we want to score in the optionals. So optionals can be divided into two categories. This is not divided by UPSC, this is divided perceptually by me, which can be classified into technical and non-technical. What do you understand by the term technical? The term technical here means that you require certain kind of prior education before taking it as an optional. Before taking a subject as an optional, you require some you require some previous knowledge about that, prior knowledge about that particular optional. Whereas if we talk about the non-technical optional, you do not have to know any prior knowledge. Once you read the basic books, once you read the conceptual parts, you will be clear in your concepts and you will understand any kind of thing about that optional. Let us see the technical optionals first. So technical optionals are agriculture, animal husbandry and veterinary science, botany, chemistry, civil engineering. Then we have commerce and accountancy, electrical engineering, law, management and mathematics. These are technical. Oh, there are more to come. Then is the mechanical engineering. Then we have the medical science. Then we have physics. Then we have statistics. And the last is the zoology. So these 15 subjects, these 15 optionals are considered as technical in the common civil services market. These are not divided by UPSC. If you want, you can take it. It is not hard and fast that it is compulsory to have a prior knowledge. If you have an interest in physics, maybe you have no prior knowledge, but if you have interest, you will be able to understand everything about physics, right? Then we'll see the non-technical optionals, which do not require a prior study. If you are having, then you are having an advantage. If you are not having, then it's a no big deal. You can understand non-technical optionals very easily, which are as follows. First is the anthropology, then is the economics, then is geography, then is geology, then is history, then is philosophy, then is political science and international relations, PSIR, then is the public administration, then is sociology, and then is literature or any one of the subjects, Assamese, Bengali, Hindi, etc. Let us see a quick note. The question papers for the examination will be of conventional essay type, already told, subjective type, descriptive paper. You will have to write a lot of, so lot of writing practice prior of giving the examination, which we will talk about, which we will talk on how to prepare for civil services and scratch. From scratch will be the next lecture after this. Then is the each paper will be of 3 hours duration. We have the choice to answer the paper in any of the Indian languages, Earth schedule or English, except for qualifying paper. Except for qualifying papers, you can give in any of the Indian languages. The question papers are set in English and Hindi, except for literature paper that are optionals. So question will be written in English as well as in Hindi in your mains, except for literature paper. Literature paper, it will be for of your literature which you will choose. that is in the optional. So it is compulsory to qualify the qualifying papers, otherwise merit papers will not be evaluated. No matter how much good you have written in all your 7 papers, if you are not able to qualify, your papers will be thrown straight away into the dustbin. No evaluation at all. So first qualifying papers will be checked. If you are able to qualify, then only your merit papers will be checked. It is compulsory to score a sum of 10% of the total marks in the merit making papers, otherwise it is considered as failed. However, qualifying for interview personality test depends upon merit. So here there is a two-dimensional. First dimension is that if you are unable to get 10% of the total mark, that is 250, so 250 10% is 25 marks. So if you are not able to get 25 marks, then you will not be able to pass the examination. You will not be qualified, but you will not pass the examination. So in the final report card, it will be written failed in the main examination, right? If you are passed in every, means you get some good marks in 25, but if you are unable to get the merit, because number of persons who are writing mains is somewhat around 2000 to 3000 of the total vacancies available. So obviously there has to be a merit. So if you are not able to qualify the merit, then it will be written as not qualified for personality test, right? So then there is a hope that you can prepare for the next attempt in a better way. If you are failed, then you need a very new approach, right? So this was all about the introduction of civil services examination. I hope the video was useful. Thank you for watching. See you soon in the next video. The next video will be about how to prepare for civil services from scratch. Have a good day.